you should follow rankings because that's the only thing important. You can say, yeah, conversions are important, sales are important, visits are important, engagement is important. But without rankings, if your site itself is not ranking, there's only 10 places, right? And now there's not even 10. Without rankings, like how can you even imagine, or how can you call yourself an SEO? What are you optimizing for? If you think rankings aren't important, what are you optimizing for? You need to get a structure. So structure is very important in content. Yes, the ideation process is there, and that's what we follow. We create a list of ideas for maybe the whole year. It comes to like advanced topics, you need to do your own research. AI doesn't help always. When I approach someone, they tend to ask you for money, right? You pay me $100 and I'll publish your link, otherwise deal or no deal.
So how have algorithm updates affected your rankings in your agency?
After all, it's an algorithm, it's a bot. It can't read, and that's what Google admitted in the court case that's going on in the US. So the bot can't read ultimately.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another episode where I'll be interviewing SEO experts and entrepreneurs from around the world. In today's episode, we are speaking to a former head of India for SEMrush. He founded his own agency. He's been a speaker at Brighton SEO. He's been all over the place on SEO Twitter. Please welcome to the show, Rohan Ayyar, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Charles, for having me. So pleased to be here in this new series. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. Do you want to give people a kind of a bit of a background on how you got started with SEO?
Yep. So just like everybody else, I think I got into SEO just by accident, I suppose. I used to work for a software development company, and I used to do, so I was sort of a team lead and do some project management. But then this thing called SEO just popped up, and the company like wanted to rank for, say, Magento development or PHP web development and things like that. And SEO just popped onto the scene way back in 2010-11, I suppose. And I've been in the industry since 2011, about the time Panda hit. And so like that was when I entered SEO, the news about Panda was all over the place. And so it was a big deal. And then slowly I got into SEO and content, and those are the topics that interest me. So I worked for, and then I switched, and I worked for an agency. I'm based in Ahmedabad, India. So I worked for an agency called E2M for about 5 years. And around 2018, I guess I got a call from SEMrush, and it was great being at SEMrush. And that's the time when SEMrush was rising above the other ones like Moz and the others. And I worked at SEMrush for about a year. And in 2019, I like got together with one of my ex-colleagues, Deepthi, and we co-founded an agency called 99 Stairs. We do SEO audits, content marketing, link building, and the works.
Yeah, so kind of you worked at India for around a year or so. You were the head of the India region. What was it like working at SEMrush, especially during the time when it was pre-IPO, right? So they were in that massive growth phase, trying to make sure all of their stuff was tip-top shape for the IPO, right?
Yes. So the point in India is like marketers, they didn't have much awareness about SEO tools and what tools can do. And being a sort of less developed country, people don't generally pay for SEO tools. Like we use the group buy stuff, and generally like they try and get one subscription and 10 people would use them. So SEMrush wanted to like increase the growth. So I was more into marketing. I didn't have a sales responsibility, but all the same, like sales was important, right? The ultimate goal is to get people to use the tool. And so what we did was I did a lot of webinars with people in digital marketing, SEO, social media, because SEMrush was getting into the entire digital marketing spectrum, not just SEO, because they have content tools, they have social media tools, engagement tools, and even sort of a marketing calendar or something like that. So they wanted to target the whole spectrum from PPC, social media, everything, and become sort of a whole digital marketing tool. And so that's what we did. I organized a lot of meetups in different cities across India. Then we did webinars, and we even placed a few articles. We did some PR, placed a few articles in sort of the top media publications, and generally like got to educate people, e-commerce companies, and all the digital people about the importance of SEO and digital marketing as a whole, you could say.
Wow. Okay. So
Yeah, just to add to it, like say Flipkart, perhaps you've heard of it. It's the Amazon of India. So we took out like big companies like that and approached them and say, this is how you can use SEMrush. And then we made some case studies, and then we put it out in the market, and generally got a lot of people to use the tool. So that was
okay.
the strategy basically.
Yeah, because I've seen that SEMrush, especially in those other markets like India and some other markets as well, generally has a lot bigger presence than Ahrefs or Moz and things like that. And I think it is because of that localized marketing and the fact that they're getting all these people and they're doing all of this kind of stuff and kind of seeing what needs to have market penetration as well.
Yeah, they had a team in Germany, and they had one in Eastern Europe, and then they had one in Latin America. So all these teams were doing their bit, and it was managed as a whole by Olga and Rienko. So maybe so that's how strategies, localized strategies from different parts of the world got together and made the tool big.
Yeah. So kind of going over to your agency now, how have you got most of your leads and most of your lead acquisition for your agency?
So luckily for me, it's all word of mouth. So from previous clients, or I used to do a lot of guest posting. Like I was active during the time, since the time I worked for another agency. I used to be very active on Twitter. I proactively tried and did guest posts on a major website. Like I've got articles in Search Engine Journal and Search Engine Watch and stuff like that. And I was active on Twitter. So one thing led to the other. And say when we started the agency, we thought like, hey, we approached a couple of guys that old clients of us, and then we could say we can manage your content, we can manage your blogs and get you greater visibility. And one thing led to the other. And most of my work until now is from word of mouth and referrals. So we are like we do white label stuff for a lot of marketing agencies. We have clients in the US, Israel, and the UK mostly. So these agencies, most of my clients are far smarter than I am. So like they have very specific requirements. They want me to do like, this is the stuff we want, these 5 links from these 5 websites, or just give me a content calendar for the entire year for this client. And I am their chat GPT. So what they can't do themselves, like they're bad at execution, but they're very clear on what they want. And of course, I help them get clearer on exactly what it is that may work or may not work for their clients.
Yeah. So yeah, well, that's, you said it, not me, about being a chat GPT.
I
That's
know.
pretty. Yeah, it's pretty cool though. It kind of allows you to know how to do that level of execution stuff at such a fast rate. It's pretty awesome. And now for a quick message from our sponsor, Search Intelligence. If you're looking for digital PR campaigns, what you're about to see should impress you.
Do you remember this campaign? It was all over the news. It is the most intelligent royal campaign. With over 100 links generated in the world's biggest online publications, this is one of the most viral PR campaigns of 2021. This is how we've done it. The methodology was pretty simple. We looked at the QS World University rankings for the institutions attended by key members of the royal family to discover which royal is the brightest of all. Meghan Markle came out on top, followed by Kate Middleton and Prince William. We put these findings in a press release and sent it to mainstream media and journalists who write about royals. From Russia to the UK, the US, Vietnam and Japan, this story got massive coverage, landing over 100 links and created a massive buzz on social media. Simple research, but a great story that journalists love to write about. I hope this will put you on fire and will give you inspiration.
So you talked at Brighton SEO last year, and in your presentation, you kind of alluded to this, a bit of an argument that had been going on in Twitter between Ran Fishkin and John Alderson, where they were talking about ranking factors and if we should be talking about ranking factors within SEO or not. So what do you think about, in terms of, do you actually correlate ranking factors to specific work? Do you think we should be talking about them? Do you think we should be talking about research around ranking signals and factors and things? Whose side are you on? You need to pick now.
I've always picked it. And that's what I said in my presentation, that yes, you should follow rankings, because that's the only thing important. Say you can say, yeah, conversions are important, sales are important, visits are important, engagement is important. But without rankings, if your site itself is not ranking, there's only 10 places, right? And now there's not even 10. So without rankings, like, how can you even imagine, or how can you call yourself an SEO? What are you optimizing for? If you think rankings aren't important, what are you optimizing for? So the point I wanted to make, and I think I made it successfully, is that, okay, yes, conversions, everything is important, but it's sort of a funnel, right? So you get your rankings, you get visits, you get sales, you make sales. So yes, ranking factors are important. Okay, we shouldn't like go deep into vanity factors, like don't say, okay, I'm getting these many links, or 3,000 links, or keyword stuffing, things like that are not so important. But yes, you should watch out for what is working for you and what's not working for you. If by optimizing your content, you're getting a jump of a few places, or if by building links from a certain niche, you are getting again, your visibility is improving, then why not do it? So my only point is that we are in SEO. If you call yourself an SEO, then it's a no-brainer that rankings are important.
Yeah, it's also how you kind of correlate your work being successful.
Yeah.
Over time, if you build 10 links 10 times and all of your pages go up, you're probably doing something correct, right? Whereas if you go and start optimizing your meta titles and all your meta titles pages go down, then you're probably doing something wrong, right? So I think it's that kind of correlation where, to get better at SEO, especially for beginners, you kind of have to let them know what it's saying, yes or no, in terms of correlation between what's working, what's not working, is how you train people.
Yes, and the point is, like, people will, those who say that you shouldn't focus on rankings, even they mean, because some people overdo it. So they say it with good intention, that you shouldn't like get formulaic. If building links works for one site, say in real estate, doesn't mean that it might work for somebody else. So we need to guard against being formulaic, or saying that, yes, this works. And that's where experimentation comes in. You run your own experiments for every client of yours, or for every website that you're managing. And then you figure out what's working and what's not working for you.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I do strongly believe that people should be trying to correlate their work. Otherwise, it's kind of like you're kind of shooting blanks, right? So when you're doing, so you do a lot of content. And I was, even before you even brought it up, I was going to say, you guest post all over the place. If you Google your name plus author, it comes up a lot, right? And with a lot of content as well, and maybe some from like 8 years ago or whatever, but still, it's you being all over the place. Yeah. What's your strategy for content from ideation to kind of publication? I'm not necessarily coming up with the keywords, the topical mapping and stuff, just the actual creating the content from the beginning to kind of publishing it.
So in the early days, I used to write a lot of content myself. So these days, I'm an agency. So do you mean it for like clients, like how we do it for clients? So the process is, now we have a small team of writers. So still the basics, you need to get a structure. So structure is very important in content. Yes, the ideation process is there, and that's what we follow. We create a list of ideas for maybe the whole year. So when you're working with an end client or a B2B business or an e-commerce company or even a retailer, the strategy is to create a list of ideas that you can publish over the period of 6 months to 1 year. And then you decide the cadence, and then we like give a structure to our writers, like this is the topic, and at least these are the 4 or 5 things that I want you to write about. And that's what makes a difference. And as one more thing is that you need subject matter expertise. So I work for some very specific companies, like can't name them maybe, but very advanced. They're doing advanced work in cloud computing, flash storage devices. So in such, when it comes to like advanced topics, you need to do your own research. AI doesn't help always, and because it's too new for AI, and maybe it needs to retrain itself with new data all the time. So that's where you need some amount of manual work, manual research, and that's where we come in, or that's where we make that small difference. That's what I try to do basically.
Yeah. So you also talk about building links. Are you
Yeah.
buying links at all? Because you said that certain specific clients want certain specific sites. So I'm
Yeah,
guessing in that
sometimes.
instance, you might have to buy links, right?
Yes. You have
On
to buy
average,
links. There's no two views about it, or there's no hiding it. So you need sort of like niche edits or insertions at least. And what happens is, like, if you're building links for a SaaS product, or a say a project management software, something, or a CRM software, when you approach somebody, even if I do only guest posting, when I approach someone, they tend to ask you for money, right? Their strategy, or their webmaster strategy, or the person in control, like if he's the editor of their blog, it's their prerogative to, like, you pay me $100 and I'll publish your link, otherwise deal or no deal. So in such cases, man, it's quicker to pay them. Even, and that doesn't mean you're absolved of the responsibility of giving them good content. Yeah, you give them the content all the same. I don't want him to choose sort of what they write about me or my client. I will give them the content or suggest what to write all the same, but then it's quicker to pay.
yeah,
And so there's no deal if you don't pay.
yeah, I get it. I've spoken to a few people who are like, no, I 100%, I will only build links that you
That
don't
doesn't
pay
exist,
for.
or it's too
I said,
slow.
what? So I said, what are you like? Are you snake charming the site owners or something? You know, you're like playing your little flute, and they're bloody like they're signing up to give you links. I don't really get it. So because I've done outreach to literally at this point probably millions of websites, and at this stage, well over half of them ask you for money at this point, right? Well over half. I'm pretty sure it's probably more like 85% of the sites we outreach to are asking for some sort of payment these days.
Asking for some sort of, and then when, like, if I'm doing it personally, say, since I've been doing it for a lot of time, sometimes I can say that, look here, mate, I have written for so many good publications, and my content is really good for you. Sometimes I'm able to convince them that if they publish my content, it's actually good for their site, and then they don't charge me. That happens too. But that's based on a reputation built over the years. And that's what we try. You can try and do it for your clients too. Like, if it's a big brand, and if you've built your reputation over a few years, then you can try and tell them, look, it's really a synergetic relationship and all. But yes, you do need to pay in many cases. Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just the world we live in, right?
That's the way the web works. And even Google, in their link spam guidelines, they have a sentence that says that's how the web works, or something. I don't remember exactly, but they're acknowledging that links or content or whatever needs to be paid, and that's what it works. So they're only telling you to disclose if it's a paid link, obviously. So they're not saying no, you can't buy links. Of course, we don't disclose it all the time, but that's how the web works.
So how have algorithm updates affected your rankings in your agency? especially in the last kind of year with just some really crazy and wild updates.
Yes, yes. So helpful content update. So even if I say I create helpful content for a lot of clients, it did affect many, and some results were surprising. Like their content was so good, like you can't find anything wrong with it. And when we say good, we know what's good, right? It was really helpful. But then sometimes that's the way after all, it's an algorithm, it's a bot, it can't read, and that's what Google admitted in their sort of filings recently, in the court case that's going on in the US. So the bot can't read ultimately. So what happens is, yeah, some of our sites were affected, but not most of them, thankfully. And I've seen that you can recover. It takes time. And sometimes there are quick hacks. You optimize the content a bit and then it changes. So the helpful content update specifically, it affects the whole site. So even if a few of your articles, or say 25% of your articles or your blog posts aren't good enough, or you have thin content, it tends to bring down the rankings of your whole site. In such cases, you just quickly delete those posts or redirect them to better ones. Many times we find that some articles are cannibalizing the other ones. Like if you are a marketing agency, you have like 10 posts on content strategy and 10 on SEO tips or whatever. So you just combine them into one, or you optimize a post that was ranking well but has fallen recently. And sometimes it works quickly. Like you optimize like 15 or 20 posts, and then you see a result. The whole of the site comes up as well. So there are some. I've also seen that building links can get you out of the helpful content update. Sometimes in two or
Wow,
three
okay.
cases. Well, we don't know the internal how the link algorithm and the content algorithm are related.
Interacting and
Sometimes
things.
it works.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of people that will be out there that are actually be quite thankful for those tips against HCU, because I know that there's a lot of agencies got really impacted by it last year, and even still now, a lot of them are still running around like headless chickens without any kind of clue on what to be doing.
And there's no
focusing on.
clarity. There's no clarity from Google. They're not explaining. Maybe because they themselves don't know how the algo works, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's just probably the reality of it. So, is there anywhere where people can find you online to kind of follow up with more information for when Google maybe just clarify how it
I'm
works?
there. I'm there on Twitter, or I'm always there.
Okay.
Every few hours, my ID is search Rook. So
Okay, I'll link to your Twitter down in the description down below. I thank you for coming on once more. Please subscribe please subscribe, like, and comment down below. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Yes. See ya.